What's going on, guys? My name's Josh and I'm back today with another Scream video. So the directors just did an interview with the website bloodydisgusting.com about the new trailer. So I just want to share a couple thoughts on what they said and my thoughts on there. Before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor and please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now you better watch out because it's time to get this video started. Let's go. Bloodydisgusting.com just interviewed the two directors of the new Scream 5 movie, Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette, as well as one of the producers, Chad Valeha, and I just want to share some of the questions that they asked and some of their answers as this pertains to the trailer. So I thought this was important information that, I wanted to share with you guys. So first up, the interviewer asked, is it safe to assume that the trailer includes important plot details as well as significant misdirections? Then Matt Bettinelli-Olpin answered, that's a very safe assumption. This was a hard trailer for the marketing team to put together, and I think one of the things we're happy with this is that anything that you might think is a spoiler in this, there's a good chance you're wrong. There are misdirects within the movie. There are misdirects within the trailer. For us, that's what's just fun for the whole thing, to make this a big whodunit. Spoilers suck, but the fun as fans is to talk about who might be the killer, then to go through it forensically and try and find and see if you can win the game, basically. So I gotta say, as far as, what they're saying, I love this. I love that there's misdirects in the trailer. I love that there's gonna be misdirects in the movie. And for me, I generally, I love being surprised and I love trying to figure out, what's going on in the movie and putting the mystery together myself. So I love that, that's really what they're trying to capture for this movie. They want it to be a whodunit. They want the audience to try to figure out who's the killer, and they want the audience to go on the journey with these characters to figure out who is the killer. And I love that they're gonna, throw people off. You might think someone's a killer and they doesn't turn out to be. I love that. I just love the journey, the mystery of it. I think that's the fun part of the Scream movies. So I love that, that's what they're trying to capture. And I gotta say, as far as the misdirects go, I think that's awesome. I love that, there's gonna be misdirects in the movie, so you might think the killer's one person and then it turns out that they're not. I love that. That's what all of the other ones have done too. A lot of the other previous Scream movies have made you think that, okay, I think this person's the killer, and then they're not. So I love that that's happening, and I love that as far as the trailer goes, there are misdirects in the trailer as well. I love that they're holding stuff back from the trailer, so not everything, they're not releasing everything. So from the trailer, you're not able to figure out the whole movie, and they leave that mystery there. So I gotta say, I like the misdirects. I like that they're not including everything in a trailer. And as far as some of the misdirects that, I would say I've seen in the trailer, one, I think it's opening scene of Tara. Watching it the first time, it definitely threw me off. I watched that and I was like, okay, Tara, her character, Jenna Ortega, she's definitely going to die during the opening scene. It's clear. Like, she looks like the killer's going to kill her. You can tell. And after watching it, and then people commenting and watching it more, it does look like she survives the opening kill, and it does look like she's going to end up in the hospital, and she's the character in the wheelchair. So that is kind of one of the misdirects that the trailer did. Other misdirects, as far as who knows, as far as they might show characters getting attacked in trailer, and you just might assume they die and they might actually live. They might be doing misdirects where they make you think that you know who the killer is, but really they're not the killer. Who knows what other misdirects they're in. The only other misdirect that could potentially be in that kind of has me second guessing now. So watching the trailer, I definitely watched it and I'm like, okay, I think Dewey's gonna die at the hospital scene, and he's gonna die trying to protect the new characters, and then we see a later shot of Gail and she's so upset. And I'm like, she's only going to be that upset if Dewey dies. And I still kind of believe that, Dewey is going to die in this film. And I do think that scene of Gail being so upset, I do think that's her being upset about Dewey because she finds out he dies. I still kind of am leaning towards that. But I got to say, knowing that there's misdirects in the trailer, that definitely has me second guessing. I'm like, oh, maybe Dewey won't die. I hope anyways. That's honestly what I hope for. I love all three of the main characters, so I don't really want any of them to die. So if there's a chance that, Dewey could live, I'm all for it. Who knows? Maybe he just gets really hurt and ends up in the hospital. It wouldn't be the first time. That's happened in a couple other movies, so maybe they'll keep up with tradition and he'll just get hurt, but he'll still live. I don't know. I still kind of leaning towards that he will die, but I don't know. I'm hoping. It gives me a little hope, I guess. So I love that this trailer and movie will have misdirects. Matt also talked about Ghostface returning to a terrifying villain, and here's what he said. That's 100% our goal. That was our goal with Ghostface here. Let's make Ghostface as scary as we possibly can, because it's one of the things we love so much about the original. Even though it can be goofy sometimes or close to being goofy, we were focused on how you balance that so that it's true to Ghostface, but also scary as possible. You guys, I gotta say, that's one thing I've noticed definitely about the trailer. This trailer definitely seems more serious. Ghostface seems more scary. Usually, there's a little bit more jokes in the trailer, and it seems like there's less jokes, and it was just more of a serious tone. But I'm honestly 100% okay with it. While, I do like the laughs in there, don't get me wrong. Scream movies has definitely some funny movies. I prefer scary and serious over funny any day. So I'm definitely glad that we're kind of going in a more serious direction as far as this goes. I'm sure there still will be some fun jokes in there. But I love that they're trying to make Ghostface terrifying because, I think that's why the first movie worked so well, especially the opening scene with Drew Barrymore. It was because it was terrifying. So there's a lot of terrifying moments, I feel like, in the original movie. And that's why I feel like it's so popular, especially that opening scene. So if they're trying to make this movie more terrifying, I just think it's overall going to work a lot better. And yeah, I'm super excited for this new tone. And you definitely can feel it just watching the trailer. I feel like this is going to be a good direction for this movie. And yeah, I'm super excited. I'm all for it. And one last thing I want to share is a quote from Chad Vallejo where he said that the fans haven't seen anything yet. And here's what he said. That is a tip of a very, very large iceberg, a very deceptive iceberg. The marketing campaign is just kicking off, and we're very excited for all the materials that will flow out over the next 3 months leading up to the release. This is just the first taste. It shows you the heart of the movie without showing you too much of what happens. That's exactly what we're going for. We want people to lean in, but we don't want the movie to be ruined. We want them to enjoy every minute of it and discover what's going on and who's who in the theater. So I gotta say, I love that they're holding a lot of stuff back and they're not releasing everything in the trailer. And a lot of it, I hope they save it for the movie. And so that way, as fans, we're generally surprised. And I gotta say, the trailer too as well, I feel like the trailer featured the original characters a lot. We see a lot, so we saw Sydney a lot. We saw Dewey. We saw Gail. And as far as the actors go, David Arquette, he was only there for some of the filming. Same thing with Courtney Cox and Neve Campbell. They were only there for part of the filming. They weren't there the full amount for filming. So it seemed like this featured a lot of their scenes. But the new characters, they were there for the whole time of filming, and a lot of their scenes weren't shown. So I think that's really cool too, that, the bulk of this movie, what this movie is going to be about, is going to be about majority of these new characters. And we really haven't seen too much of them at all. So I love that. I love that they're keeping it a mystery. And I just hope when we go into this, there's going to be a lot of scenes we haven't seen, and there's going to be a lot of surprises, because I think that's really what's going to make this movie fun. So yes, I love that, they're holding back on us, and yeah. But what did you guys, so as far as this interview goes, I will put the description of this article in the description of this video. So if you want to read the full article, you can check it out. Just look in the description. I'll have a link there. But what did you think of this article? How do you feel about the misdirects? How do you feel? Are you also like me? Are you kind of second guessing some of your assumptions from the trailer? Do you think Dewey could potentially live? Or do you think he's going to die? I still kind of think he's going to die, but I love that, this at least has to be questioned, and maybe he won't die. And it kind of gives me some Dewey hope. But please leave your comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching.